The book of Acts, chapter 22. Paul speaking to the mob. My fellow Jews, listen to me as I make my defence before you. When they heard him speaking to them in Hebrew, they became even quieter, and Paul went on. I am a Jew, born in Tarsus in Cilicia, but brought up here in Jerusalem as a student of Gamaliel. I received strict instruction in the law of our ancestors, and was just as dedicated to God as all of you here are today. I persecuted to death the people who followed this way. I arrested men and women and threw them in prison. The high priest and the whole council can prove that I am telling the truth. I received from them letters written to fellow Jews in Damascus, so I went there to arrest these people and bring them back in chains to Jerusalem to be punished. As I was travelling and coming near Damascus about midday, a bright light from the sky flashed suddenly around me. I fell to the ground. I heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? Who are you, Lord? I asked. I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you persecute. The men with me saw the light, but they didn't hear the voice of the one who was speaking to me. I asked, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said to me, Get up and go to Damascus, and there you will be told everything that God has determined for you to do. I was blinded because of the bright light, and so my companions took me by the hand and led me to Damascus. In that city was a man named Ananias, a religious man who obeyed our law and was highly respected by all the Jews living there. He came to me, stood by me, and said, Brother Saul, see again. And at that very moment I saw again and looked at him. He said, The God of our ancestors has chosen you to know his will, to see his righteous servant, and to hear him speaking with his own voice. For you will be a witness for him to tell everyone what you have seen and heard. And now, why wait any longer? Get up, be baptized, and have your sins washed away by praying to him. I went back to Jerusalem, and while I was praying in the temple, I had a vision, in which I saw the Lord, and he said to me, Hurry up and leave Jerusalem quickly, because people here are not going to accept your witness about me. Lord, I answered, They know very well that I went into all the synagogues and arrested and beat those who believe in you. And when your witness Stephen was put to death, I myself was there, approving of his murder and taking care of the cloaks of his murderers. Go, the Lord said to me, for I will send you far away to the Gentiles. The people listened to Paul until he said this, but then they started shouting at the top of their voices, Away with him! Kill him! He's not fit to live! They were screaming, they were waving their clothes, they were throwing dust in the air. The Roman commander ordered his men to take Paul into the fort, and he told them to whip him in order to find out why the Jews were screaming like this against him. But when they tied him up to be whipped, Paul said to the officer standing there, Is it lawful for you to whip a Roman citizen who hasn't even been tried for any crime? When the officer heard this, he went to the commander and asked, What are you doing? That man out there's a Roman citizen. So the commander went to Paul and asked him, Tell me, are you a Roman citizen? Yes, answered Paul. The commander said, I became one by paying a large sum of money. But I am one by birth, Paul answered. At once, the men who were going to question Paul drew back from him, and the commander was frightened when he realised that Paul was a Roman citizen and that he had put him in chains. The commander wanted to find out for certain what the Jews were accusing Paul of, so the next day he had Paul's chains taken off and ordered the chief priests and the whole council to meet. Then he took Paul and made him stand before them.